recognizing what someone does day in and day out, and it gets to, be month after month and sometimes year after year, just articulating your gratitude to someone has more power than you can even imagine.
Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show.
And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders Radio Network with Daphne Davis from Pinnacle Senior Placements. That's www.pinnacleseniorplacements.com. And Daphne and I are talking about who will care for the caregiver. And Daphne, this topic is so important, but I feel like we can't end today's conversation without addressing the rest of the family members, the siblings of the caregiver. Daphne, I guess, what do you see is the best role for family members to support the caregiver?
When it's clear that this is the trajectory that you're going on and it's working for the most part, I would say some of the things that you can do in terms of supporting that caregiver is to figure out ways of giving the caregiver a break. What does that look like? And there's so many different scenarios within a family, but sometimes that might be nothing more than having maybe an adult or a late teens or early 20s grandchild, watch over grandpa. And then daughter and mom get to go out and get their nails done together.
Yeah.
Something like that. Or it could be providing meals. That as you're cooking your own meals and you can put them together and freezer them and make them easy. Meals are a big deal. When you're cooking for one or two, it's a chore. It's hard to come up with things to do. Or it might be that in your routine, you can on a regular basis, not haphazardly, but make it a scheduled basis that every Wednesday you bring lunch in. And it's mom and dad's favorite from some takeout restaurant that they used to go to regularly, but they can't anymore.
Right.
And so it not only is a kind of break, but it's also an activity. It's something for everyone to look forward to. It might be something in terms of taking care of things in the yard that are just weighing on somebody. It's springtime right now. Cleaning up a yard is an overwhelming thing. Get the family together, get all of the aunts and uncles and cousins together and have a little spring party if that's, feasible because everybody's in the area. You're out of the area. Something as simple, and I know this is going to sound kind of trite, but something as simple as having some flowers delivered to brighten somebody's day might be just what they need. And they come from you, the son or daughter that lives 1,500 miles away. If the nice little note and it generates a phone call, you can make that phone call. Don't wait for them to call. You make the phone call. Hey, mom, I hope you got the flowers that I sent today. Oh, we did.
Yeah. And
And
I
then
think a lot what you're saying, I look at how often do family members say thank you to that person that's caring for their loved one. As simple as that. When I look at my experience, I felt like I was all alone. I had siblings that expected a million things from me, and they never once showed any appreciation for anything. And I learned not to expect it. But now in retrospect, what would that have done to the relationship and my ability to be able to to have that type of a appreciation from my family. And I think the other thing is let them vent. Sometimes you had a bad day. And obviously, sometimes you have to say, mom was just terrible today. Or, dad threw his, Alzheimer's father threw his coffee across the floor and I had a big mess. And I just need to talk. And those are things that you could do. Recently, I had a couple of sisters. There's 3 girls in a family. A couple of sisters decided, okay, what we're going to give our caregiver sister is we're going to start the Joy Patrol every month. And they alternated every other month, taking care of dad while sister was staying with dad. And then the other sister took the caregiver daughter out on some sort of adventure that afternoon and they did things that were crazy and they called it the Joy Patrol and they put this whole thing together, which I thought was so amazing that these are things that families can do just for the one that is on the front line, especially moms that are caring for dads or dads that are caring for moms. That is 24/7. And to have that kind of break or that kind of appreciation is so powerful.
You said something that was really powerful, and that's the attitude of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Recognizing what someone does day in and day out, and it gets to, be month after month and sometimes year after year, just articulating your gratitude to someone has more power than you can even imagine. It lifts the spirit, and it can just be verbal. It can
Mm-hmm.
just be, thank you. I
Yes.
I don't know how you do what you do. Your energy is incredible. You always have a smile for dad, no matter how confused he is.
Yep.
The simplest of things can go so far. In that comes a place, when you're in a place of gratitude, you can have a heart more of abundance. And I think that can work for all of us in all walks of life, of wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, to just stop even the craziness of being in the sandwich generation, the craziness of having to make really hard decisions, the craziness of trying to figure out, is mom and dad's, estate going to be there for them to have the money, to have the care? All of those things are very
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
But I
Abs-
encourage you to talk about them. Don't stuff them. Talk about them. We need to come more into our community. And what better place to have the community is around our family. And when you have the element of someone needing care, I think it's more important than ever to be bold with your words in terms of asking questions or talking about things. The other piece in doing that is you can say to someone, I've been educating myself, or I heard on the radio, or I watched a podcast, or I read a book, and I didn't know that this was something that could happen in the daily routine of care." And talk about that, whatever it is. Are you
Absolutely.
dealing with that? Or to recognize some signs that, the refrigerator, though you bring food over, it's still sitting in the refrigerator, that nobody ate it.
Mm-hmm.
To compassionately ask, this is if it's a spouse and caring for a spouse, to compassionately ask, "Hey mom, what are you really cooking for dad?
Right.
Are you
And
guys eating?"
everyone, help is just a phone call away. So please reach out to Daphne at pinnacleseniorplacements.com. This has been a very powerful hour. And I implore each and every one of you to go to your heart and think about the people you know that are caring for a loved one, whether it's a spouse, a grandparent, a parent, or a child for that matter. There are resources out there. And Daphne, it's been such an honor to have you on the show this week.
Thank you.
Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.